Let's go deeper on the issue and the impact of the Supreme Court decision. I'm joined by Christine Quinn. She's a former New York City Council Speaker and serves on the board of the National Institute for Reproductive Health Action Fund. Christine, thanks for being with us. As a result of this decision, are you expecting policy changes in blue states like New York?
I think we will see policy changes in blue states because we want to make sure in places like New York and other progressive states that we make our hometowns and home states as welcoming as possible to women and girls who need reproductive justice, who need to have abortions. And there are ways we can do that very aggressively. And our governor here in New York, Kathy Hochul, she is calling our legislature back to take those kind of steps. And we need to see that action really mirrored across the state and make it very clear that we are not going to stand down and walk away on this issue.
Well, let's take that a step further. What can be done to help the women who are at least able to absorb the financial and healthcare impact of the court's decision?
And let me just say that's a really important point. Upper class women with money, white women with money will be able to get abortions in America, no matter what state they live in. Don't kid yourself about that. But low-income, poor, particularly women of color, will not. So here in New York and in a couple of other jurisdictions, there are funds that were set up over the past year or so, funds that are for women who cannot pay for abortion. So if someone comes to New York and can't afford to have an abortion, there are abortion access funds here, and Americans should find those funds, go on NIRH's website, other websites, and donate to them. That's a way to really help make sure no matter where a woman or a girl lives, she can get an abortion.
In the last few hours since the decision, we've seen a growing number of companies, including J.P. Chase, say they will pay for their employees to travel for legal abortions if they live in a state that bans or restricts the procedure. Do you see a scenario where access to abortion care is expanded to women who live outside a state?
First I want to applaud Jamie Dimon for putting out that decision, for making that decision. That's a very bold thing to see a leading financial company make that kind of a statement. Financial companies are not typically political or progressive leaders, so I want to thank him. I think we are going to see women from states where abortion will be outlawed coming to other states in a very significant way, in big numbers, to get the health care and abortions that they need. And I also hope that what Jamie did here and J.P. Chase did here is mirrored and followed by other companies, because we have seen in the battle that we had for gay marriage that really became a work-life issue for people. Until we had it in New York, we heard people say, I'm not going to take that job. I'm going to go to Connecticut, Massachusetts, where they have marriage equality. This could really be an issue where companies could push and lead the way.
Wow, it could see kind of a ripple effect as what we saw over the last decade. Justice Thomas, in his concurring opinion, seemed to leave the door open to challenges beyond Roe v. Wade. What's your analysis?
I mean, he left the door, the window, he left everything open. And I actually don't even think he left them open. I think he put out a call for cases. He put out a shopping list, if you will, and made it very clear to Americans and the far right in this country that he wants to eliminate contraceptive rights, eliminate LGBT partnership recognition, and eliminate marriage equality. Those are gains that it took decades and decades to win, and he wants his legacy to be pulling them all down, and that's why it's so important. We've heard such a big cry in response to the court's decision, and why we've seen governors and others take quick and bold action.
But we want to be clear. I mean, he was alone in this position. He would need 4 other justices to come to his position, and they did not do so in this case. In fact, in their ruling, they seemed pretty explicit that abortion, in their view, was a very unique issue and separate from these other issues.
And some of those people, some of those justices also told us when they were in their swearing in process or hearing process that Roe versus Wade was done law, settled law, and they would not go back and revisit it. So, you know, forgive me if these are people whose opinions I don't take to heart. And also, none of us really thought 5 years ago this day would come, and it did. So we have to be prepared and take what Thomas said to heart.
Final question. One of our guests earlier said that they anticipated they didn't see a change in their lifetime on this issue reaching the Supreme Court. Is that also your view?
I hope not. I hope not. I think it's appropriate to organize in that way, to really buttress the blue states, to expand abortion access funds, to push businesses to do what J.P. Morgan Chase did, and on and on. We have to organize it as if that is the case, but I hope that is not the reality.
Christine Quinn, thank you.
Thank you.